Hello all, Nick Calabro here. Just got out of the ocean, took a little dip. Lovely, beautiful day, not cold at all. No, I'm totally kidding. Anyway, the reason for this video right here is that I just was talking to somebody actually down here by the beach. They're living the dream, honestly, and they are struggling to get their agency clients. Now, I'm not gonna bore you with the same exact sob story nonsense that you hear literally in every single advertisement where people are talking about how to, streamline your client acquisition and stuff like that, because it's not what this is about. So his idea for generating more work was essentially just lowballing himself a lot. So what he was doing was essentially just saying, we will build your website for $500. And he figured if he can get enough volume in that way, then he can build enough of a portfolio to get more people down the line. So I was like, okay, I'm listening. He kind of goes on and I'm like, so how much money are you making on the back end? Because obviously you have to have a strategy in place to be monetizing these people later on. And he was like, oh no, there's really nothing. We're not doing anything further after that. So after I, picked up my jaw off the floor and cleaned up all my drool and, got over my stupefaction and, dumbfounded attitude, right? I was like, okay, so we have some work to do here in your model. And essentially what we ended up doing was he didn't understand that he was actually already working with an MPS. And I say, what is your MPS? And he says, what's an MPS? And I was highly insulted because it's a concept that I originated. An MPS is a minimum productizable service. And he had no idea what it was. And, once I got over that and kind of brushed my ego off, and I told him that your MPS is essentially the minimum productizable service, the core kind of most niche down product that you can offer somebody on a easily deliverable basis, right? So what that means was he was essentially churning out websites like they were nothing. He had the templates in place, he had the timelines in place, he had the staff in place, he had everything in place to be able to spin out and churn out a website in a matter of minutes. Honestly, he wouldn't really give them to his customers that quickly because perception issues and whatnot, got to keep up appearances. But anyway, he already had the MPS in place, he just didn't really know how to execute on it the way that would be highly profitable. So what we ended up doing was essentially taking his current methods, current processes, current staff and everything, and what we essentially did was turn that into reversing the sales process, right? So we took out the sales. We essentially said, take your salespeople, fire them, give them their 2 weeks. No, we didn't actually fire anybody, but we essentially said, you don't have to do any sales for this anymore, because since your product is so easily delivered and so easily monetized, your website can do the selling for you, right? And this was kind of like something that he didn't really understand at first. So I told him, you're not really running a digital agency. Digital agencies are not the answer here. You don't want to run a digital agency. You're not consulting. You're not doing all this nonsense that agencies are kind of, famous for. That's not really the answer here. The answer is just going for a mass market in a very specific niche. And that's where the money is to be made, right? Because ultimately, when you see it from the angle of the consumer, if someone's talking directly to you, right? If you're talking to a doctor and they say, and you think that you have like ear problems or something, and they say, does it hurt when you do this? And you'll say, yeah. And the doctor will say, well, stop doing that. It's like an old joke, but either way, you essentially just have to talk directly to the person, and then they'll know exactly what is it they want. And if what they want is your product, your minimum productizable service, then they will buy that immediately. So ultimately, we set up some different funnels, we set up some different, application forms and stuff like that, and we put them on his website, and then he was able to very easily do all the selling through the website, through his network, through some advertisements, and then it was pretty much game over. He essentially now works less and makes more money. If it sounds, too good to be true, it's not, because we've done it here, and I'm talking about this a lot lately, and I'm sure if there's a link, whatever medium we're on, I have no idea, but I'm sure there's a link somewhere where I talk more about this and show you exactly how I did it. So very similarly, I did it with my company, Broker Buffs, where I was doing very, very similar story. I was doing real estate marketing for real estate professionals, digital ads, and advertising on Google, Facebook, and all these other mediums and whatnot. And essentially found out people don't really want all this consultative nonsense. They just want some ads up, okay? They just want some leads. And so that's when I trimmed all the fat, cut all the nonsense, and said, fine, if that's what you want, that's what you're gonna get, okay? And I kind of said it out of spite there, but it ended up being exactly what they wanted, and we ended up being much more profitable as a result of it. So ultimately, I'm talking a lot about this lately. Find your NPS. It'll really, really change your business. I'm really looking forward to it, really looking forward to working with you. And, you know, that's about all I got. I'm Nick Calabro. Thank you very much. Now get to work.